All right, hi. Today my mother and I are going to show our garden. We're not professional gardeners. This is just for family and friends. Some cool things we're doing. Ma, what is this?
This is, these two bushes existed there, so I wanted to create an archway. So with my youngest son, I created an arc.
And this will be a repeating theme in our garden. All right, before we go into the archway, over here are a bunch of plantains. These have medicinal value. We've also got these wood sorrels over here that you can eat. And if you come over here, Mom, maybe you can describe what this is.
Yeah, this is the old sink we were going to throw, but then we wanted to reuse it, so we planted a maple.
Right. Now we go through the magical space here. Okay, here's the second archway. My mother's going to describe it.
Yeah, this also, there are two different types of honeysuckles here. Yellow is already flowering, and then the red is coming from here. Eventually they're supposed to meet there. So, yeah.
Yeah. The other design feature here that my mom and I are exploring is how to create landscaping using natural things. So all of these leaves are part of the biomass. They come from the trees above, and instead of throwing them away, we pack them over here. It suppresses growth and creates this pathway. The other thing really good about this is a lot of native insects can overwinter. So you're increasing the biodiversity of your yard because they depend upon this. And if you look at this, the borders are all logs. And inside those logs are bugs who again are increasing the biodiversity of our yard. Okay, let's come on through. And then, Mother, describe this.
Yeah, most of the flowers in this garden are transplanted from somewhere. They mostly came on their own. And now this is the foxglove and the irises, and these are all, most of them are really good for the pollinators. Like this particular one called cup flower, it's just like sunflower, and it also collects some water for birds to drink. That's why it's called cup flower. And this side is lamb's ear, and it's very soft. It creates a sensory experience. And these are bee balm, very good for the pollinators, and that's goldenrod, and that's also transplanted, and it's wonderful for the pollinators.
And part of what my mom and I are exploring is how do we take a little bit of the biodiverse wilderness and put it into a more manicured garden. And so the goldenrod comes from my messy area. You can already see too that the goldenrod has the spittle bug right over here that has deposited its children. And these in late August will burst into flowers. And then, Ma, describe this design element here.
Yeah, this is the second one. I love to collect some rocks from different places, so I just created a different kind of border right here.
Very cool. Okay. My mom's been putting yucca around this.
Yeah, this is another thing I transplanted from many different places, so it will be border at some point.
Okay, and what's this, Mother?
This is columbine, another wonderful thing.
And native.
Flower. Native. Most of them are native.
Yeah.
Most of them.
And then if you come here, I don't think the lilies are native, but I'll show you something cool.
Yeah.
So these are the lilies. My mom got this for my birthday. There are these little creatures on here. You can see these two are doing it right now. The scarlet lily beetle, they eat up all the holes. And what's really cool about them is that their children, like right here, they wrap themselves up in poop as protection. So if you peel that poop away, you'll find a red little creature there, and it's eating all the leaves over here. Okay, very cool. And then we've got other things my mom's planted. We've got echinacea, which is a native plant. We've got milkweed over here, which is, oops, sorry, Mom.
No,
very useful.
Yeah,
okay.
It's wonderful, and it's volunteer. It came on its own here.
Very good. Okay, let's come over here.
Here also I created with my youngest son a border, tiger lilies, and then also these lily of the jungle. So they're very fragrant, and they look very nice when they flower.
and then talk about the moss there.
And here is the idea was to fill up the cracks with the moss. So that's how it was all created here.
Very cool. Okay, and then we can head over this way. So here we have a bed of ivy, and this ivy was strangling my sacred tree number 1 over here. And a lot of people had advised me to kill it, but I just couldn't. And so what I decided to do was pull it down and have it waterfall over this tunnel, which is again on that theme of archways. So now we're going to walk through here. Once again, we have a biodiverse front yard here. These are wild violets. You can eat them if you like. You can put them in salads and things like that. And here's a sink that we have rescued. We've turned it into a raised bed. We've got lettuces and kales gifted by Nellie. And usually the bunnies destroy this, but now it's a raised bed, so they cannot destroy it. That's kind of cool. Over there, which you probably can't see, but I have a beehive of, these are European bees, honeybees, but later I'll show you places where solitary bees from Massachusetts reside. Okay, ready, mother?
Yes.
Okay. Now what you notice here is this amazing, just bed of white flowers. And all of these flowers are blackberries, and some of them are black raspberries. They just came by themselves, and I nurtured them. These are native. And so a lot of pollinators, you probably can't see it, but it's buzzing with little creatures pollinating it. Now ultimately what I'm going to do is, this is a tunnel, and this will go into my vegetable garden. But right now it doesn't connect because I couldn't cut the blackberries. They were just too beautiful for me to cut because they're flowering. Next year though, there'll be a tunnel. Now as we go to the street, there's all this mugwort. And the mugwort, different people like the Koreans use in their cooking, but you can also do all sorts of stuff with it. Some witches use this for stuff, and you know, it's got, you can look it up on Wikipedia. It has many uses. Now, because the tunnel isn't complete, we can just walk into my garden. These, the seeds of these, you can eat, so it's edible. Okay. We walk through here. I also have poison ivy. It's part of the things I like.
Nellie, be careful.
This is my vegetable garden, and there's some experimental things I'm doing, like putting down bark so that it suppresses growth of weeds. And we can walk through here.
You want to go down?
Yeah, you can go. And then in my vegetable garden, I also have things like this. This is pokeweed, and this is a native, and a lot of creatures depend upon it. And you can also make dyes out of it, and you can make ink out of it. Okay, now we're going to enter into like a Google person. We're going to enter into a magical space. So there used to be a hemlock all across here, and still there are many. And as those hemlocks fell, I made a border, and then you can enter into this magical place. Wow! And keep going down, so they can see how deep it goes. So now you can see that this is like what I call the hallway of hemlocks. Some of the interesting features are that because no sunlight gets down here, there's a lot of leaf litter that I can put here. So some of the leaves I'll rake and I'll put down here. It creates a neat pathway. Again, a place for native insects and creatures to live and burrow. All of these logs also, many solitary bees of Massachusetts will eventually burrow into it. So having logs and rotting wood in your yard is very important if you want biodiversity. Also, this is going to be called the hallway of hemlock, and also holes. So take a look at this beautiful hole right over here. I like holes a lot, and so people will come and they'll kind of like pay respect to holes. Here's another hole right over here. And then here's a hole right here. And then another hole down here. Is really kind of cool. Okay. When we come out here, we've got goldenrod. We've got these plants here, which are really good if you get poison ivy on you. And I have poison ivy all over my yard. And then you come over here. And then this is my sacred bower area. And the bower, it's almost as if you're given birth and you go out into the swampland. And one day my mom and I will create a boardwalk that goes through the swampland. But for now, this is like our ceremonial area. Okay, and now we're walking over here. And this entire area over here is all raspberries. And the raspberries are native. And a lot of creatures, pollinators, they all come here. They eat the raspberries, they love the flowers. Okay, and now this area here is my mom's, so we'll describe.
Yeah, this is a herb garden, and there are a lot of mint, onion, and garlic. And then this is an amazing berry, and this is grapes. This one I loved in India, and it all of a sudden decided to come here. So
it's called a gooseberry.
Gooseberry.
And we've also got sage somewhere in there.
Yeah, there is sage in there, yeah.
So, another thing that's important that my mom and I have been exploring is how to create a lawn that's just not a lawn of grass. Because again, a lawn of grass is not biodiverse. Not a lot of creatures, rely upon that. But if you have a biodiverse backyard, not only do creatures rely on it, but you get a lot of medicinal stuff, you can eat stuff. And just to give you like a random sense, like if you look anywhere, for example, just right here, you can find that there's clover over here, so this is all edible. Any human can eat the clover. Here's wood sorrel. This has a very nice sour taste to it. You can eat this. I'd already shown you the violets. We've got dandelions right over here, so you can eat the dandelions. And this is just an example of having like native plants or some naturalized plants that are healthy for humans, and they're all over the place. Ma, you want to describe this area here?
Yeah, this is the fern garden. I brought only one or two, and then now they are thriving here.
And part of, for me, this is like my mom's philosophy on raising children, where you look at what their characteristics are, and then you nurture that. So this area gets very minimal sun. So it used to be kind of dead, but then my mom found plants that naturally belong here, and now look at this lush fern garden to nurture it. Okay, so then we come here. My mom has a sacred stone space. This is fields of goutweed, which I guess are invasive. They do produce this beautiful flower. When these turn all white, the catalpa tree will also have white flowers, and they will all float down, and this will be just a sea of white flowers. It looks really quite nice. But I like the wave structure over here. Okay, and then we're almost done now. Another really cool part, Ma, you want to talk about this area here?
Ooh.
Oh, that's okay.
Thorn?
Just one top. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is another different moss from different places. I tried to create this whole area because there is not a lot of thing grows here, so it looks very beautiful.
Moss garden, here's an example. Again, if you don't have rotting trees, then you can do something like this, where different native bees, solitary bees, some wasps will lay their babies in these holes. But the best is to have like a rotting log where they naturally create their holes. And then this is like the stomach area of our yard. We've got 2 compost heaps. One is just an open pit, and then one is one that, with the help of Steven, we've created this with pallets.
Yeah.
And then you're saying something about India, Ma, which is cool.
Yeah, yeah. In India, it's considered really bad to throw grain or food in the trash. So there you can give it to people, poor people, but here you can't. So I really wanted something where I don't throw the grain outside, and I learned from my boss Elizabeth that this is the way you can do here also.
Okay, very good. Thanks to Nellie for recording this. And
Yeah, thank you, Nellie.
Yay. Okay, then.
I'm very happy.